Hello everyone and welcome back to the MCFC Lads YouTube channel. It's deadline day and it's completely over. The deadline was about 2 hours ago. The deal sheet deadline was 3 minutes ago. And it's been a crazy day. It's been frantic, Alex, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been absolutely mental. We've had a lot of outgoings. Donnarumma seems to be done. By the time this is up, it might be announced. But we know it is pretty much done, so there's no concerns with that. But it's been a busy day for Hugo Viana and the City board today.
Yeah, well, the Donnarumma news, obviously it dragged on probably about 2-3 weeks, I'd say. Now the Ederson leaving kind of cloud was above us as well, which is meant James Trafford started the first 3 Premier League games of the season. Obviously, it's not been the greatest start. We've obviously made videos and we'll talk about that on the podcast later this week. But the facts of this matter are City have signed Donnarumma for 26 million from PSG on a 5-year deal with an option of 1 additional year. He's 26 now, so that would take him to 31, and the extra year would take him to 32 if it was activated, which is around Ederson's current age, actually. He moves to Fenerbahce in a deal worth 12 million. We know that Galatasaray put in a €3 million bid a few weeks ago. That was never going to go through. Turkey always seemed to be the option. There seems to be a bit of money floating around there. And also, it does always seem to be Turkey that mop up quite a few of these deals that don't end up happening with other clubs. And quite a few of these late deals, because Alex, you can tell us, how many days is it that the Turkey window has left?
I think they've got 12 days left, though any teams in the Champions League that want to register the players for the Champions League have to do it by tomorrow at midnight, I believe.
Okay. Well, yeah, how do you feel about the Donnarumma-Ederson situation? We both talked about it, obviously, a couple of weeks ago, and this was all floating about. I'm going to hold my hands up, I personally would have been happy with Ederson and Trafford staying with that kind of arrangement. But at the end of the day, the board have made a decision there. Donnarumma's come in, he's an unbelievable goalkeeper. We've got to back him. I do find it a strange one to do it so late, but Ederson's gone. Makes sense to bring in another keeper, Alex. How are you feeling about it, mate?
Yeah, I think we both feel the same, to be honest. It would have been nice to keep Ederson. I really like Ederson. He's been a great keeper. He's revolutionised the way goalkeepers play the game, especially in this country, all the way down to grassroots level. And he's a legend of Manchester City. As a result, he's been part of the greatest teams we've ever had. But like you said, he wanted out, which is fair enough. His time was up at City, and so we had to go. I'm glad with the fee we've got. I think over 10 million was a bare minimum, but we've done that now, so I can't argue with that fee. Donnarumma is an interesting one. I think we both thought it was absolute nonsense when it first came out, but it's obviously not. He's done now. He's a very different type of goalkeeper to what we used to, as is James Trafford. So we've now got no goalkeepers that are particularly known for playing with their feet, but we've got 2 goalkeepers that are incredible shot stoppers. How they sort of integrate with each other, we're yet to see. I'm intrigued to know, sort of, is James Trafford now just a designated number 2 for the next 5 years? Because I'm not sure he'll be happy with that, in which case I can see him moving on fairly soon. Or will we see sort of I think you tweeted about it earlier, where a never seen before goalkeeper strategy, where maybe there are some games where we say Donnarumma is going to play in the Champions League big games and he'll play the big 6, but then maybe James Trafford will be better for teams that are going to high press, or I don't know how we do it, but there could be a way
tactically, is that an option?
Yeah, where we work and we just sort of swap it about and they have a pretty even amount of minutes. And we're yet to see. I think James Trafford's been okay since he came in. Obviously, he had the mistake against Tottenham, but he made some very, very good saves against Brighton. But yeah, Donnarumma's a great keeper, one of the best in the world last year, so obviously we'll back him. I'm not sure it was necessarily needed, but given Ederson went, it had to happen. So yeah, that's how I feel.
Look, he's a giant, Donnarumma. I've never said in any capacity, and neither of you, that he's not a good goalkeeper. We know he's a good goalkeeper. Whether he fits into Pep's play style, who knows? Whether he fits into the club's future plans beyond Pep, maybe that's come into consideration. Who knows? But that is the major talking point of the end of this window. We obviously know about Ryan Desait-Nouri, all the players that came in before this deal happened. But there's quite a few on the way out as well. Now, we'll talk about Ederson and Donnarumma further on the podcast later this week. Definitely will dedicate a section towards Ederson. He's got far too much hate from a strange portion of online fans, to the point in which MCFC lads have actually been blocked on Instagram. I can't blame him. I worked this one out because I was trying to just tag him and look at his account, and he definitely has blocked us. But ultimately, if I was a footballer, I'd be blocking some of these accounts. Like you said, Alex, off camera, all this information and talk about him leaving has probably just mushed all these accounts into one for him. He's probably seeing some news about him leaving that we posted. Never anything negative, and he's probably just hit the block button. Can't blame him. If I was a footballer, I'd probably do the same. But we'll move on from Ederson, and we'll talk about him on the podcast, like I said. Alex, there's a few players on the way out.
Yeah, there's a number of players, and I think we're probably best off starting with the the first player leaving of the day, and that was Manuel Akanji. Obviously, we've seen for a number of days now, it looked like he was going to leave. He was left out of the squad against Tottenham, I'm pretty sure. And loads of teams looked at him like Palace as a replacement for Gahey, who's now no longer going to Liverpool. AC Milan were linked. I think there was just a few clubs everywhere, to be honest. But today, Inter Milan came out of nowhere and have come for him on loan for this season. There's an option to buy, 2 million loan fee, option to buy for, I think, 15 million euros in the summer if he plays 50% of the games in a title winning season, which is doable for Inter Milan, to be fair. So we could see Akanji go on a permanent in the summer. But in my opinion, he had to go. We had too many centre-backs. Akanji was an incredible buy by us in 2022. Came out of absolutely nowhere. I believe he signed on this day back in 2022. It was near deadline day, and none of us expected it, but he was crucial in the treble win, playing at right back, left back, centre back. He played everywhere, and he's played an instrumental role in a lot of success under Pep. But I think his time's up, and I'm happy for him that he's got a good move to a good team in Serie A.
Yeah, well, he was wanting a move to get some Champions League football. I know Tottenham, like you said, were looking at him. I think it's a good move. It works for both parties. I think if he plays 50% of the minutes, like you said, it's a guaranteed move. We'll get 15 million for him, and that's pretty much a return, as you said as well. So I think with all due respect to Akanji, we needed to shift some players out, and it's his time to leave. Good servant to the club. İlkay Gundogan, obviously with a cameo return to City, is also on the way out. This has been agreed that Galatasaray have made a deal with City to sign him. I imagine that'll be some sort of token fee. We obviously got him for free last summer from Barcelona after he had 1 year there. He's a treble-winning captain, İlkay Gundogan, unbelievable player. But maybe the return was the wrong option. Who knows? You can't really decide that. After the event, it's easy to say it was the wrong option, but if in another world Rodri hadn't got injured, we hadn't had as many a problem as we did last year, some of the teams had been a bit weaker and things had gone our way and we'd got a different draw and all these different if, buts and maybes, it might have worked out, Alex. It might have worked out.
Yeah, I think, like you say, it was time for him to go and everyone agrees that. But one thing I don't like is revisionism, like you say. A lot of people saying it was a really poor move from the board to go and get him. But if we hadn't got him last summer, people would have gone crazy. He was available in a free transfer. I remember when he left after the treble season, the reason he left in the first place was because City wouldn't offer him a 2-year deal originally. And the 2-year deal would have taken him to last year. And the board said, no, we weren't sure about him. Everyone went mental. The board then went and got him for the second season. And everyone went mental that we've signed him now. And they said, well, why did you do that? It was a stupid move. So the board can't really win on that one. So I do start to feel for them. Like you say, Gundo could have worked out. He didn't, sadly. Things just didn't work out. The scenarios weren't right. But I mean, I wish him the best. Hope he goes to Galatasaray, smashes it. He's obviously part Turkish, so I'm sure love living over there. But best of luck to him.
Yeah, he seemed destined to go to Turkey, and all these players leaving. It's a strange online fan base we have now. We're obviously growing as a club, and we have got this mass of fans. And I'm not saying by any means that every fan that doesn't exist in England is a bad person by any means, but there's just a strange group of people online that I've been personally targeted by as well. People like we were driving back from Brighton away, very ironically yesterday. I was getting hit with plastic remarks and all this stuff, and it's just laughable. But there's people that have borderline chased Ederson, Akanji, hated on these guys on their way out of the club. You've got to respect these players at the end of the day. They've been top professionals. They've never once kicked up a fuss. They've never once said a bad word out about the club, and they've always, given the best on the pitch, which is all they can do. So İlkay Gundogan, Akanji and Ederson, we all wish the best 100%. On this channel anyway.
All treble winners.
Yeah, all treble winners. And speaking of the treble winners, only 5 of that starting 11 in that game remain. The likes of Kyle Walker that were on the bench moved on as well. So, yeah, times are changing. There's that picture as well from the Centurion squad that I've actually got in front of me right here. And as much as, there are players outside of that exact 11 that still exist, Bernardo and Foden, you can see there that John Stones on screen there is the final remaining player in that 11. So, yeah, times are changing, things are moving. And it's been a crazy end to the window, Alex.
Yep, it has been. A lot of players moved on. We had to move players on because we had that issue with the squad registration rules, the Champions League.
Yep.
We're now under the limit now, so we are all good. And we even have space for one more signing maybe in January if we need it. Yeah, good job by Hugo Viera in the end to sort of clear some of the deadwood out. It feels wrong saying that about some of those players, but I think right now they needed to go. And there's also obviously talk about Ortega going, but that doesn't seem to happen yet. We'll have to wait and see. We'll probably speak more on that in the pod when we know more. But deadline is done, and now the transfer window is done as well.
Yeah, we'll close it up. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you've not already, and make sure you leave your thoughts as well in the comments section. Cheers for watching.